Logo, AR, a diagonal space cuts across the A. It moves to the left and the text appears, accessible, innovative and relevant training for VR counselors. A woman sits near the end of a long conference table. Another woman and a teen boy enter. The woman sits across from the seated woman. The boy sits near the other end of the table. Another man and two women enter and take seats.
In this scene, we will observe an IEP meeting for John, a 14-year-old male who lives with Asperger's. John was diagnosed with Asperger's and approved for an IEP during his early elementary school years. This is not John's first IEP meeting. Those in attendance include John's mom, the school case manager, the English teacher, the math teacher, and the vocational rehabilitation counselor, Carrie, whom John has never met.
The first woman seated talks.
Okay, everybody, let's get started. We have a lot to cover. Mr. Thornton, would you like to start?
Sure. So, John is an exceedingly bright student and with very efficient and solid grammar skills. However, he refuses to write on any topics assigned in my class. Instead, he's chosen specifically to write on solar batteries. Now, I'm happy that he has such an interest in this specifically, but I'm really going to need him to start showing his proficiencies towards things that are actually assigned in my class. And because he hasn't been able to do so, he has a C right now. And I know he can do better.
John reads a book.
Thanks, Mr. Thornton. Next, we will move to Ms. Shaw for a report on progress in math.
So John is doing well in math. He has an A. But something important to note is for the next semester, I'll be moving to the South Campus. So rather than having my class in the morning, he'll have Mr. Brewer in his class in the afternoon.
John looks at her, then to others at the other end of the table.
This is the first that we're hearing about this change. Has anybody talked to John?
John closes the book.
Mom, I do my other classes in the afternoon, then I go to chess club. Does this mean I can't go to chess club?
John, it's okay. We'll find a solution.
His mother puts her hand on his arm. John returns to his book.
Okay, next we'll have Carrie from Voc Rehab. Carrie, would you like to share something from Voc Rehab, please?
Sure. Hi, I'm Carrie. I'm with Voc Rehab. We provide all kinds of different services for people who live with disabilities. If you're interested, I can take an application after the meeting or send an application home with you to complete later. It's whatever works best for you.
I thought you helped with jobs.
Oh, we do.
Well, what kind of jobs do you have?
Video pauses and goes to gray.
From what you've learned about disability advocacy and autism, you may have spotted a few problems with this interaction. First, the adults speak about John, not with him. As we know, a tenet of disability advocacy is nothing about me without me. Second, they don't draw upon their understanding of autism, which may include a restricted range of interest and difficulty adapting to change. Consequently, the English teacher focuses on John's interest in batteries versus whether or not he's demonstrating proficiency with the grammar skills covered in class.
They all enter the room again. John sits and wipes his hair.
They don't prepare John before the meeting about the new person attending his IEP meeting, the VR counselor, or the change in his schedule. John is blindsided by the news. Also, the VR counselor speaks in generalities about VR providing little clarification about how the program might benefit John. How could they do better? Let's take a look.
John leafs through his book.
Okay, everybody, let's get started. We have a lot to cover. Mr. Thornton, would you like to go first?
Yeah, sure.
Excuse me, Miss Smith. John and I have never met before, so would it be okay if I introduce myself and VR before we get started?
Sure, go ahead.
All right. Hi, John. I'm Carrie. Is this your mom? Hi there.
It's nice to meet you.
Yeah. You guys are probably wondering what the heck I'm doing here. So I'll take a quick moment to explain what I do. I work for vocational rehabilitation, or Voc Rehab for short. We help students with disabilities prepare for and get work equal to their interests, the things that they enjoy doing, and their abilities, the things that they're good at. Does that make sense?
John's mother looks at John. He nods.
Once a student has a job in mind, we help them identify the services that they'll need to prepare for and get that job. So let's say a student wants to be an engineer. Engineers, as you know, require a college education. So depending on the circumstance, VR can help pay for that education. I would be happy to set up a meeting with the both of you to share more information on the program if you like.
John's mother looks at John. He nods.
Yeah, that would be very helpful. Thank you.
John reads his book.
Thank you, Carrie. Mr. Thornton, would you like to go next?
Absolutely. So, John is exceedingly bright, with solid grammar skills. However, he refuses to write on any of the assigned topics in my class, and instead he writes on solar energy and solar batteries. Now, though I'm impressed and I'm pleased that he is interested in that, he's willing to write about it, I'm going to need him to actually show his proficiencies geared towards what I am assigning in class. And right now, because he hasn't done that, he has a C. I know he can do better, and he has to.
Carrie.
So, John, it sounds like you're interested in solar power. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, he reads everything he can get his hands on.
Okay, well, I wonder if you, John, demonstrate in your essays that you understand the grammar lessons covered in class. And if you agree, Mr. Thornton, then I wonder if writing on topics of interest to John could be a reasonable accommodation to include in his IEP.
That's a thought. Mr. Thornton, what do you think?
Well, I mean, if he can establish and show me that he can actually follow through with those competencies in what I'm teaching in class, then I can't see why not.
Okay. John and Mom, if you agree, we could amend your IEP to include that accommodation.
John's mother looks at John.
Yeah, that would work. Thank you.
He continues to read his book.
Okay, let's move on to Ms. Shaw for a report on progress in math.
So John is doing really well in math. I believe he actually has an A overall, which is great. But something important to note is that for next semester, I'll be moving to the South Campus. So rather than having my class in the morning, he'll have Mr. Brewer's and his class in the afternoon.
John looks at her and then the others.
This is the first that we're hearing about the change in his schedule. Has anybody talked to John?
Mom, I do my other classes in the afternoon, and then I go to chess club. Does this mean I can't go to chess club?
No, John, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. We'll be able to find a solution.
His mother touches his arm. Carrie speaks.
John, I can see that this is very upsetting. Would you like to share how you're feeling? We're all here to help you. How can we help?
I don't like changes to my schedule. It just makes me very anxious, and no one even told me.
Well, John, thank you for the reminder that having a predictable schedule is very important to you. We can keep that in mind and be sure to let you know about any other changes before our next meeting. Would that be better for you?
Yeah, it would. Thank you.
In this scenario, we witnessed the VR counselor advocate for John by speaking to him directly and soliciting his input in the meeting. Drawing from her understanding of autism, the counselor validates John's frustration regarding the change in his schedule and asks him if advanced knowledge of changes would help him in the future. She also suggests an amendment to his IEP that will permit a modification of the assignment without sacrificing learning objectives. Lastly, she helps John and his mother better understand how VR can help students by explaining the process and providing a concrete example of services. In this scenario, the VR counselor brings the best of her knowledge and skill to the table to benefit the client.